Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to round 3 of our EG Evolved RaceFace.Pro GT3 series. Let's head on over to the track to find some action as we head on into qualifying. There we go, much better there. Welcome in everybody, I hope you all have had a fantastic weekend and welcome to round 3 as we see already one of the drivers off into the gravel trap. Little bit of information tonight. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, as we are at the beautiful Laguna Seca, located in Monterey, California. This is a 3.6 kilometer track known for its 11 turns and significant elevation changes. Specifically, the famous turn 8, also known as the corkscrew, which is a dramatic downhill chicane that drops over, get this, 5 stories. So it's a key feature to help, it was a key features included, the pavement of surfaces and tight technical layout. So it's definitely going to be a battle of road tonight as we see the drivers battle out for round 3. Let's take a quick look over to the standings as we see the drivers going around on as we go and set their minds. Over to the standings as we get sorted here for our gold and silver. Currently leading the way in our gold class is Kieran Harris. Currently Kieran Harris is setting the pace as technology decides to fail me once again and be a bit of a difficult one for me, but we always get the best out of it. I do apologize for this. Acting up. Jim, the cameraman, being problematic for me again. Not wanting to work how I want him to work and not giving us the information that we really want. Problematic set issues as we always go around here. Everything works right. You start streaming and then it says, nope, we want to be a bit on the difficult side, and then problematic. However, let's head over here to the standings quickly. Leading the way for our gold is Kieran Harris with a points total of 95 points. Right behind him we have Rick Thomas with 90 points. In third place, following 20 points behind Rick Thomas, is Alexander Everingham. Fourth place we have brother Andrew Harris to our leader Kieran Harris in fourth, and then in fifth place we've got Daniel Bosch currently on screen with 36 points. Heading over to our silver division, leading the way is the flying lady Chantal Hansen with 95 points. In second place Jean Kluter after a abysmal race at Nürburgring, sitting in second, 17 points, and in third place we've got Jean-Luca Palmer-Rosa on 75 points, so just 2 points separating our second and third place. But in fourth place, 5 points behind Jean-Luca, is Jakub Engelbrecht. So that's a fight that we will be looking, keeping a close eye on for tonight to see how that unfolds. However, let's take a quick little look here over to the virtual grandstand. It is great to see our dedicated fans there already. Fuzzy Fish 2 Gaming saying let's go, and then David Breitenbach saying lekker to see you again. It's always great to be back on the air to bring you all the great skills that we have out here on the circuit. Over to the old school tooling here of manually changing everything as we go around here, but as we do head over to this, I do apologize once again. Here. One day I'll get the hang of it, one day I'll be able to get this right, but luckily ACC always a great game that we all do love very much. do apologize, ladies and gentlemen. It seems like the broadcasting tool does not want to work with me tonight, so I will absolutely just I do apologize again, ladies and gentlemen. We are experiencing some technical difficulties trying to get everything sorted here. Of course, everything works right before we go live. And then as soon as we go live, we do have some issues always brewing in the background. But let's see if we can get this up and running to have it where we want it to be. So we head
green light, go, go, go.
Back to where, yeah, there we go. Finally having some data for you all and able to tell you what's going on. What's going on here? As I came audio. It's a tad bit on the loud side. I do apologize for that. This side here. There we go. Much better, ladies and gentlemen. Now I'm able to actually give you all the information that is needed. So I do apologize for that. Bit on the difficult side on my side, but I do hope to get a bit there. But let's take a quick look at our driver's time so far, with Kieran Harris setting the pace once again and leading with a 1 minute 23.8. Currently his last lap, but his current lap time is a 122.7. That is the benchmark to hit, but closely behind, guess who's close? His championship rival, Rick Thomas, with a 122.8. Now, the drivers are going to struggle a bit with their pace around the circuit, as it is quite a hot day. Sunny with 24 degrees, and the track is a blistering 27 degrees Celsius. But the time of day does make it a bit in favor, as it is a little bit cooler for them. So the track will be a bit hot, but will be decreasing as drivers go around with the final 5 minutes and 10 seconds off. Third place got Alexander Everingham with a 1 minute 22.9. So top 3 in our AM Gold class is fighting it out currently for the pole position. So that's always good to see, as the drivers are trying to make their way around this beautiful, technically challenging circuit that is Laguna Seca. As you see, a Bentley pulled off to the side of the road in an attempt to get back to pits and hope just get another run going. Should have enough time to fire up the tires and get rolling once again. Then in fourth place, we've got Leon Swan in the lone Lamborghini with a 123.1. So our top 3 all sub 23s, and the rest all in above 1 minute 23 seconds. Then Danny Bosch in the Mercedes AMG. Now, he did ask me when is it going to be a bit of a paint job on that car. I am not quite sure, unfortunately. Not putting through on our side. I will with our technical on there. But let's take a look at our Silver leader, Chantal Hansen, leading the way and showcasing that Nürburgring was not just a once-off opportunity or once-off little moment. It was a pace that is going to stay around here and is not going to go anywhere else. It's being held up a little bit by one of the Snell's racing cars there in front of the BMW, getting out of the way, but not the line that Chantal would have wanted to go through that fast little left-hander as they go into the notorious corkscrew. Again, as you mean, this is a 5-story drop from the highest point all the way down. So the Jarvis just spots a little corner, knowing where to turn it. It's a blind turning corner, as I'm looking to see if we can get a bit of an on-board here to see what Chantal does as he heads towards the dash. Let's see if we can get it on board here. On the run-up to the start-finish line. Chantal. There we go. Not too loud. Just getting the audio from the engine just a bit better there. Apologies. There we go. As we go hard into Andretti hairpins. That's 1 and 2. Then it's a quick shift over to the left where they go in for turn 3. There's a bit of a run all the way over to, let's jump into the helmet cam for turn 4. Then it's hard on the throttle, flat out for the time being. Is love this camera. Absolutely love it. See the driver point of view. Then it's heartbreaking going left uphill into turn 5, and this is where she ran into some issues the previous time around, where just look how fast this corner is. A bit of a downshift and then back on the throttle. Some drivers don't even downshift there, just a bit of a brake and then hard on the throttle as they power out there. Then into the notorious corkscrew, hard on the brakes, down the gears, turning hard. Look at that quick drop. It is absolutely heart in mouth moment there as they turn then again to the left for Rainy Curve, and then onto turn 10, which is the penultimate corner, where on the left side she runs a bit wide and turns around, not making it to the final corner, unfortunately. And unfortunately that wraps up her her time there. As we take a look at the pit lane again, but let's take a look at Gianluca Palmarosa, as he is currently on a lap time with 2 tenths up, 1 tenth up now, to improve on his time. But in 7th place we've got Volley Negrini, 2 tenths up on his time, as he is hoping to improve all across the board. Every driver out there squeezing as much time out as possible in order to improve their times. Let's boost up that beautiful engine quality there again for you, ladies and gentlemen. Just listen to that beautiful engine in the back of that Ferrari 296 as they head to once again. But further down the pack, we had drivers that were 8 tenths up before she decided to rather go and call it quits. But best one, a newcomer to there, I just saw the time here, Donovan Leher. Not logistical nightmare, apologies. Racing Snails, I'm used to seeing him part of Logistical Nightmare, but Racing Snails ZA, jumping from the console side, I believe, getting upset by that nasty little sausage curve. Now, Laguna Seca is quite known for its sausage curves. It looks like a commentator's curse, as we have Timothy Hamilton on board now as he is heading into the corkscrew, as he's currently 3 feet up and moving. But Alan Palmarosa set quite a fast little sector there, almost 2 seconds up on his lap time, hoping to improve again the Racing Snail ZA team in the beautiful McLaren. Beautiful McLaren 720S Evo, and yes, Fuzzy Fish 2 Gaming there. We have 2 Harris and 2 Palmarosa. So we've got Alan Palmarosa, which is currently on screen, fighting it out for our AM Silver division, and then we also have his brother, I believe, Luca Palmarosa, fighting it out in our also our AM Silver division. So Chantal Hansen being unseated as the fastest our AM Silver driver there, and then of course our 2 Harris brothers, Kieran Harris and as well as Andrew Harris, both of them rocking that beautiful Ford Mustang, going there, part of Racing Snail ZA. So it is the 2 Harris brothers and the 2 Palmarosa brothers, both in different divisions, as well as fighting it out for that championship. So it could be brothers, the Palmarosa brothers, but we are not sure, as we've had father and son duos in the past racing it out there, as the timing ticks off finally here for our qualifying session as it comes to this, with Alexander Everingham putting in a whopping 1 minute 22.4 as the drivers are finally wrapping up their time here now on the circuit, as we wait now for the drivers and teams to get the clearance to go and grid. Apologies for that, David. I'm currently trying in a bit of a new direction, so let's rather just do this, keeping the mic in one direction. I've got 3 monitors here, so I'm trying to look at everything at the same time, so I do apologize for that. But drivers are now ready and on the grid as we wait for that formation lap to start, as we switch over to our broadcasting cameras. Take a look at that track temperature. It is currently 6 o'clock. Currently 6 o'clock in the evening here in Monterey, California at Laguna Seca. Now it's taken called WeatherTech Laguna Seca as we wait for the drivers to get ready to go racing. Let's rather just keep it there for now. Just trying to keep my mic as constant as possible for you to not allow any mic spikes to happen here. But yes, we've got already people cheering on in the grandstands. I'm not sure to pronounce the name there. Mikhail, I'm going to say that Mikhail 5543 saying P7, number 17 P1, let's go already. Alexander Everingham calling, getting cheered on there. Let's take a look on how it's going on. 40 seconds until we have our formation lap, and then we will run through the grid order to see where everybody stacks up. Fuzzy Fish 2 Gaming, that is a good call, who is going to be tagged into turn 1, but it is not just turn 1 that is the question mark out here tonight. It is also turn 1 technically is the little kink. The hairpin is turn 2, where is the most action is going to be, as we take a look over to our helicam as the drivers start firing up those beautiful engines, as we soon we'll be running through the starting order for our grid here. Ready, their cheers going out there also to the Palmarosa brothers. I don't know, David Zeta, if you can tell us, are they brothers or are they father and son duo? Seems like you have their cheering for them there in the virtual grandstand. But the cars are running there with Kieran, with Alexander leading the way in pole position in the BMW M4. Kieran Harris, our championship leader in AM Gold, hoping to make way and charge his way to the lead again, showing blistering pace that he has shown previously all the way from Nürburgring, and not just showing it is a German track that favors him. Then all the way in third place we've got Rick Thomas from Extreme Sim Racing, and then closely followed by is the other Harris brother, Andrew Harris, in the Ford Mustang once again, sitting hoping to make a better run after having a good start at the Nürburgring, getting involved into a few contacts there, and the race not going in his favor, unfortunately. Then all the way in, leading our AM Gold class isn't Chantal Hansen, it is Jean-Luca Palmarosa in the BMW, again racing Snail ZA. It is a racing Snail ZA 1 and 2, and then 4 and 5. So it is going to be the lone extreme sim racing of Rick Thomas in the McLaren that is going to have to defend there for his life. Then in 6th place, a newcomer semi, but an old name to this. It's Jakub Schrobler coming in 6th place there and fighting it out. There's a good race for him around this time, well, after an abysmal race start. And then 7th place got Leon Sharp, followed by Donnie Bosch, which is the repeated success that he has had. For the next one, I don't see Don. I believe Don might have to disconnect there. But we do have Volin de Greeny there in 8th, then 9th, Chris Schreef, Jacobus van der Walt, followed by Chantal Hansen over to the top place, then Rudy Painter, Donovan Leher, Jaco Engelgraf, Francois Werter, Sean Putter, Alan Palmarosa, the other Palmarosa member there, and then Ruben von Steen and Juan Scholes, followed by Jason Randall, Marcus Fraser, Timothy Pillon, Lucas Hubert, Paul Rue, Juan van der Vestes, Jakob Frissel, finally for least, and wrapping up is Matt Myber. But jumping over to our pole sitter, Alexander Everingham goes through the final corner as we wait for Tim to give us the green flag. They are waiting. We are holding, waiting for that green flag to drop as the drivers ever hold it at 60 kilometers an hour, holding.
Green light, show them where you go.
Green, as the drivers take off flying towards the Andretti hairpin side by side. As the Kieran Harris takes no time, launching an attack around the outside, going through turn 2 of the Andretti hairpin as they switch over. Contact, Kieran Harris off into the gravel trap, into the wall. That is his race over. That has freed up the championship very much as Rick Thomas now sits after Alexander Everingham. As our time board updates with drivers heading through the first sector, we have contact up and down the entire board here as we need to see what has happened here, but it is carnage throughout the entire one. Kieran Harris unfortunately coming off second best. That BMW not very happy, sliding it through that, sliding through. In the background we have drivers diving out of the way. It is carnage up and down the entire circuit, ladies and gentlemen. Donovan Lear getting involved with a bit of contact there, getting back on track, firing up and rolling there all the way in the very back, but back in front. Car number 3 also involved in another incident as drivers jump in to avoid and head to the pits. Already Bosch dropping down, unfortunately, I believe might have a bit of a disconnect. That is a Bentley going extremely slow there after run, scores the butt back in front. Got Alexander Everingham leading the way after a bit of contact with the championship rival and knocking Kieran Harris off into the gravel and sustaining damage there is seriously down in the garage there. I wonder what has happened there, ladies and gentlemen. But that has promoted the likes of Rick Thomas into second place and Andrew Harris into third. Jean-Luc Palmarosa, our leading AM silver class driver, in fourth position, fighting for an overall podium spot. But we take a look at Rick Thomas in the 14 McLaren of Extreme Sim Racing, fighting it out with the front engine BMW M4. I do not believe this is the Evo iteration, but it's still quite a car that many describe as being a bit of a beaver tooth with its front side having that big opening there. But these two are fighting it out. There's some great battles all across the field. As you know, drivers, checking the back. Volonegrini leading this train of around 7 cars, including the P2 in our AM class. Chantal Hansen fighting out with the lone Lamborghini Evo 2 there. As what is going on here, ladies and gentlemen? Gianluca Palmarosa dropping like a fly. Is this a disconnect? Is this an issue that has crept up? Let's take a look. About 30 seconds back, it seems he has gotten damaged, ladies and gentlemen. Yep, he has hit the wall, and unfortunately, look at the bent steering arm, not able to go for it, and deciding to go and rather tow to the pits. Not what he would have wanted, not how he would have his race to go after phenomenal pace in qualifying. Unfortunately, going and losing his time. As we switch over to our leads once again, as we're just waiting for our bit of our, there we go, back to live timing here. Not what Jean-Luc would have wanted, but that has promoted Chantal Hansen to resume the lead for our AM silver category, and that fight is still going, unfortunately, but it is kind of sad. Hopefully he can still continue. But Chantal Hansen setting her sights onto the Lamborghini of Leon Swan, hoping to gain a bit more positions as she is followed closely by Rudy Venter in that Porsche. Different livery compared to the last week, but Chantal Hansen now needs to know when to pick her battles. As Leon Swan runs wide, that will be a track cut. That is not what he would have wanted. He is going to be slow on the racing line. That will push Chantal Hansen a bit wide, allowing Rudy Venter to sneak on by. But again, this is not a fight. Her closest competitor is the likes of Jakub Engelbrecht. That is her closest competitor and nobody else. But Rudy Venter again dropping, running wide. Bad. Bit of a shuffle going on here. Chantal Hansen dropping more and more downwards. Back in front. A 1.3 second lead already being extended over Rick Thomas by Alexander William as he has set the fastest lap of the race. At 23.4. Now these lap times will drop more and more as the race goes on, as fuel load gets lighter, as tires warm up a bit more. But back Kieran Harris. Kieran Harris fixed his car and is back out. Great to see. He's got a master driver in front of him, as well as Donny Bosch missing gridding and starting from the pits, I believe. Not really what I wanted, but it does allow him to be closer in front of his rival Kieran Harris, as this is still a championship fight heading out. Unfortunately, in the pits, we've got Gianluca Palmarosa having to get the car fixed and nobody wants it. But Lucas, you bad, still going around there and circulating. Matt Myberg is also still on circuit, but currently our closest battle is in one shot. It is Donovan Leah fighting it out with, I believe, Bentley of, that's Ruben von Steen, a newcomer to the sim, or to our championship. That's not Ruben. I'm trying to find out who is the Bentley. Unfortunately, dropping there. I'm trying to find out here. Ruben scores. Here we go. Very slow, and has gotten involved in this fight between Jakob Chrysler as well as Paul Leroux. That is one of our close laps on fight. But Francois Buerta, a spin at the penultimate corner, has thrown him all the way back. I do apologize, as I just continue to see what is going on here to receive our pro commentary, which not happening tonight due to a family emergency taking place. So just had to follow up there quickly to find out everything, having a bit of an update there. Our thoughts go out. Nothing extremely serious, but just some thoughts going out to our commentator on that side, Stephen Koenig. Really hope that all things there so far good news. But taking a look at Ford number 777, Jacobus van der Walt. Rabbit Raccoon Racing, I believe, is the name of the team. Teammate to Donny. Back on Donny Bosch there, but currently at the front, still a 1 second gap between Alexander William and Rick Thomas. Our closest fight is the Lamborghini and number 777, David Breitenbach, calling it good as we have side-by-side racing into turn 1. The Mustang having the legs over Leon Swan, pulling and clearing him comfortably, as we do see car 65 having a bit of contact there, I believe. Let's take a look there quickly back to see what has happened there. Slowing on the racing line, drifting a bit wide there, not being able to get the car hooked up, going wide unfortunately, and not what we would have wanted. Jakob Chrysler, look at this, as you a three-way fight between, not a three-way fight, that seems to be a car that is unlapping itself. Curious. Our timing tower being a bit stranger, but Jakob Chrysler, no, that was Alan Palmarosa that has gone through the likes of Leon Swan. What has happened here? Leon Swan dropping down the order in the pits. Let's see if we can get a quick look, a glance at what happened. Unfortunately, not able to see that. Unfortunately, now not being able to see that. Now stuck in a bit of replay. Leon Swan dropping down the board due to, it seems to be some issues there happening. But good news for others, bad news for some. As Chantal Hansen is now currently in 8th position, setting her sight on Chris Greef, which is in front of her. But yes, Kieran Harris still with the fastest lap. Kieran Harris setting a whopping 123.1. These times will still tumble more. We have seen him run a 22.7, I believe, in qualifying. So the lap times will drop more as the drivers are burning through that fuel load. However, remember as human, they do have to do a mandatory pit stop where they have to go and change tires and do the remaining fuel. Otherwise, it will just be an all-out sprint dash, and we do not like that. We want entertainment, we want drama, we want to see drivers give their passion out there as they fight to get glory here in our EG Evolved Season 25 GT3 Championship here on ACC. midfield. We've got Jean in 12th position and hold of Donovan Lear in the Racing Snails Aston Martin. One of our close battles currently on circuit, one of our closest ones actually. Other than the line and Ron Schultz. Let's take a look at this little battle going out here from here. Let's take a look on the rear wing of the McLaren. As we do that, camera shy is the Bentley, saying, I do not want to be caught on camera. I'm going to give the spotlight to the Aston Martin of all the review that we currently see here of this beautiful Mercedes AMG GT3 Evo. Beautiful machine and absolutely beautiful in life. But take a look at the switchback as front shot getting and losing the position to these two are fighting. Take a look over the rear wing of Jean Clutter. Three-way fight for P12. This is their Ferrari versus Aston versus Ferrari. As our cam a bit here, just to see like little gap that is being formed there between the three of them, all covered within one shot. Fortunately, Francois Boerts are jumping a bit downwards, not able to keep the pace to his two rivals in front. But look in front of them, this is the likes of Marcus Frazen. Now also getting sucked into this little battle here as he is trying to pull away. Fortunately, I think might be nursing something on that car, not really able to pull around there as he cuts across and go for his braking zone, runs deep into the corkscrew, bad exit, fouls up Jean Clutter, fouls up Donovan Lear. Donovan Lear saying, I will take this, thank you very much, squeezes him off and forces him off circuit. Marcus Fraser not going to be happy about that, but that does promote Donovan Lear and Jean Clutter and Francois Boerts all up a position. Donovan making the best of the situation and gains 2 positions there as they come across the line now. As this gaps don't really reflect what's going on here, but take a look in 3rd position, ladies and gentlemen, Jaco Grobler. A driver who has fought out in Pro and Pro-Am in past editions of our GT3 Championship has made the switch over to our racing and has been racing with Team Heap together on some international scenes, is currently sitting in 3rd after a very bad race at Nürburgring, where it says 2 hours before the race he entered, learned that he knows the circuit, but needed to learn the simulator again as braking is different. Sitting in 3rd position, fighting it out for the lead of, fighting it out for the top 3 spots of our championship. But he is in his mirrors being kept busy by Volley Negrini of Negrini Motorsports. As we jump on board here for this shot, as we do see the drivers trying to fight it out there, trying to go and fight out it as best as possible. Take a look a bit on the bonnet cam. Oh, absolutely love the splitter cam here. Just something beautiful. Yes, a bit of a better view for the cameras here. As you see him hunting down the likes of Jaco Grobler, Jaco Saki Grobler, as he's always saying, yes, the uncle is racing here now. But let's jump back out again to our trackside cameras to get a bit of a shot, see how the drivers are going around here. Further back in the pack, take a look at this. Francois Boerts right under the rear wing of fellow Italian manufacturer and same manufacturer of Jean Clutter. Jean sounding better there. As we do see, I do not know, but we do see a car there having some internet, some bit of issues there. That is Donnie. Oh no, stop, go 30 for Von Steen. Not what he would have wanted. Probably sped in the pits, which will be triggering a penalty or too early off of the pit limiter. His race going from bad to worse. But Marcus Fraser and Jean Clutter, our closest battle currently on circuit, separated by less than 5/10. McLaren fighting it out with the Ferrari. However, the Ferrari now having to deal with Donnie Boerts in her hopes to really try and get past them. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen, just had a bit of a tickle in the throat. Jean Clutter trying to make his maneuvering there. Bit of dust getting kicked up into the pits goes Jean Clutter as we see a very slow Ford Mustang. That will be, I assume, Barney Valise as a bad entrance for Jean Clutter as he hits pit wall, sustaining a bit more damage. Let's see what happened there. Yes, unfortunately, not getting the rear end of that little collision there, not being able to stop it, as we do see Stocker 30 being served there by Von Steen, but also see Swan still in the pits. Not when you want to see Jean Clutter reversing all the way. Now, Jean, this is a dangerous game you're playing, as you can get disqualified for this. And there we do see it, ladies and gentlemen, a disqualification for Jean Clutter. Championship hopes going down the drain. Might have missed the pit box entirely, yes. No, entirely missed this pit box, seeing as to where he is currently stopping. Not what you would have wanted for his championship fight. But Chantal Hansen still leading the way for our AM Silver class, but take a look there, Jason Randall. Only 2 positions back in the mighty Lexus, needing to go and fighting out for the lead. Still holding second place, but still trying to get that lead back from Chantal Hansen. It is fights and battles all the way up and down the circuit as Chantal Hansen has Andrew Harris keeping her rear mirror busy, but we do see a pull to the side. Very, very smart racing there from our AM Silver leader to not go and get involved with other battles for which does not concern her. We have a collision for car 122 as well as car 69. 122. Donnie Bosch getting involved with a collision here. Let's see if we can see what has happened. Let's go back. That is B. Franco Puertas. We're going to see what happened here. Into a jetty hairpin. Later on the brakes, or it's just a bit of something not really happening quite well there. Unfortunately, does behind him have Kieran Harris, so he is battling some of the issues there. So I do believe there might be some contact having happened between Franco Puertas getting out the way, mining it. But now, Kieran Harris, speaking of him, after getting contact on lap 1, is about to lap past the likes of Donnie Bosch. Now, Kieran already having the fastest lap and setting a new fastest lap, I will say, ladies and gentlemen, with a 122.8 a few laps ago. So he is really turning up the wick. Just said after the leaders, he's the only one lapping in the 122s with nobody else able to get close to him. So really setting the benchmark that everybody around him on this circuit here. Further up the field, we have Jaco Grobler having his mirrors full of Bolly Negrini, needing to go defensive mode into the caution, taking the normal racing line, hard on the brakes, and into corkscrew. 5 stories down, dropped. A bit of touching there. Volley trying to force his way past the BMW. The BMW saying, that is not going to happen, as we did see that little contact there just happened there. Other than the likes of Paul Ruba. Let's keep an eye here on our podium fight, overall podium fight, but also P3 in the champion, in our AM Gold class, with the BMW there grinding out of the way, not to get involved there. And then again, just goes right back up to this fight. Volnegrini getting it all wrong, getting caught out by the brake marker, giving some breathing space to Jaco Grobler, as Jaco is now able to pull away and get a bit of clean air, and nothing right behind him. Further back we got Andrew Harris trying to just continue circulating. Chantal Hansen trying to use him a bit as a bulldozer to make a way. No, I do not believe that there is any strategy involved between us. It is not possible for Kieran Harris to really take the lead anymore. Pose a significant threat to our top fighters in our gold. So Alex, I do apologize for that. Andrew Harris just doing his own thing and driving, not playing the team game here. as it is still a championship fight. Yes, there might be brothers. Yes, there might be still teammates, but he also wants to get his hands on that gold trophy. As you can tell, hands now having to defend against, well, not having to defend, but right back we've got Jason Randall, second place. These two not being separated by any position, but do you see Racing jumping all the way, Marcus Racing jumping down, as I do see this, and it's just being spoken about Jason Randall. Getting a bit of commentator's curse there and cuts the corkscrew. That is not the route to go. That will be a track cut, and he will get a bit of a wrap on the as we do see Chris Griff jumping into the pits, hopefully to just do his pit stop and not to serve any damage on the car. As this is not what he would have wanted to, probably just trying to get this out of the way. But take a look at this. Rick Thomas now have a back marker on his rear wing. 2 seconds back we've got Jakub Grob. No, Jakub Grob not having any fight with Volnugrini, who's 2.4 seconds currently back. So Jakub Grob having a bit of breathing space behind him to focus forward and not having to look in his mirrors the whole time. With Chris Riff now exiting the pit lane there, according to our timing tower, and on his current outlap. Earlier this race we spoke about one Palmarosa. Now let's talk about the other Palmarosa. Alan Palmarosa flying past a back marker there as he is busy defending against Jakob Grissel. Now this is for positioning class as well as position overall. It goes again every time we put a camera on the drivers. It seems to be caught out by the technical nature of Laguna Seca here in Monterey, California, as Jakob Grissel had a bit of a whoopsie daisy and is unfortunately scrambling everything and throwing a bit of a spanner in the wheel works for most of the drivers out there. Not go back about 30 seconds to see what happened there. Gets it all wrong at turn 10, throws him off into the gravel. There goes volley through, not able to go and make it there. Now he's got a bunch of grime and gravel on there. Moves a bit over to the racing line. That is going to be something that might get reported to the stewards. Gets involved there. That is going to be a bit of a wrap on the knuckle. Unsafe rejoin if it needs to be. But let's get involved a bit in that fight there. Jumping 2 positions after one simple position, but again right on the fight again for an attack in the 2 in front of him. Back the second Harris brother, Andrew Harris there, just circulating, not really getting involved with fights as we do have one of Rose brothers there, I believe behind him there. I can't see the car number yet, but I do believe that will be Alan Palmarosa. Yep, Alan Palmarosa. We'll see if his camera shy there, Matty, but we'll see. But it is still circulating. Here comes our Hansen Hour and silver leader in championship and on circuit, having to slam the brakes, getting fouled up there by Alan, and unfortunately needing to take a place of action to avoid getting taken out there. It is a whole bunch of hide-and-mouth moments there as we do see the Willis van der Walt car 777 into the pits to serve his pit stop. That will hurt again. This into the fourth place. Many of our front runners still have not pitted just yet. Our other closest battle on circuit, it's not this one, but it's still the Aston Martin of Paul, who's still circling there with the Bentley of Ruan Scholz. He's also going there just mining out his way. But ladies and gentlemen, we might have, no, we don't have another retiree. That's good to know. I've already saw him dropping down the timing tower. Well, I thought we would be having a bit of unfortunate timing now. Take a look at this pit exit. It is a very dangerous pit exit here at Laguna Seca. Many drivers don't really have a barrier separating you from the live track as you exit there. Then it's a hard corner there, and then guess what? You rejoin right onto the racing line, making it very difficult for any driver coming out to be aware of what's going on here. But personal lap times being set by everybody out there. Car 73 just setting a good one. That would be Matt Nybo for 124.9, and then previously car number 14, which is our second place, Rick Thomas, setting a 23.5. Still no one in our top 3 or even our top 10 has gotten close to snatching that fastest lap from Kieran Harris, who's currently sitting in 23rd. You see him at the bottom of our timing tower there, making his way up, fighting through the field. I do believe that we might have a bit of a top 10 on the cards though for the likes of Kieran Harris, but top 10 overall, that might be a bit too far to reach, so it will be a bit difficult to see, but he still has to do his best stop still. So let's get back to our closest battles circuit here. Randall coming up to a back marker, needing to unlap himself from position 17, which will be Marcus Fraser there. The Lexus, one of our oldest GT3 cars, but still circulating out there. The Lexus RCF, I believe, GT3. It's the oldest car, but it is being replaced by, I believe, the new Toyota Supra, as we do see a very squirmy BMW there in the background. Not being very happy with how the car's been treating itself there, but the lone Lexus continuing his route out there. Still good to see that car still being out there and still being chosen at RaceFace.Pro. Take a look at this. Rudy Fenter having his rear mirrors full by none other than Kieran Harris, as Kieran is saying, listen, enough is enough. I want to get here. Let's take a look at the driver view of that screaming noise of the Porsche. But calm as can be. Let's take a look at that front splitter here. Front dashboard there. You can see a yellow flag, but none being triggered. Might have been a bit of an off-track excursion there. Already getting past, fumbling around with the cameras. We saw that beautiful move there done by Kieran Harris. QS already into 20th or 22nd there, and going to jump a bit more positions. Of our pack, we have Alexander Everingham still leading the way and still have an almost 60-second gap left over the likes of Rick Thomas. Rick still circling and getting up to one of his teammates of Extreme Sim Racing. That will be the likes of, I do believe, Francorchamps. Let's just confirm that. No, not Francorchamps. Other might be Chris Rief. Also Chris Rief, interesting. But one of the Extreme Racing cars, Rick Thomas, just towing his teammates along a bit in order to get a bit of slipstream to get him across there. I can't see that. Is not 100% sure which car it is there, as the car is its back marker, I can promise you that. As the car still in its pit, but up the road you did see there Alexander Everingham going up the road into the likes of turn 5. And while we have the car still circling around here, we do want to give a shout out to our sponsor, EG Evolved. If you want to get into sim racing, you want to join us out here on circuits at Laguna, Seca, and at many other circuits, including Kyalami, Bathurst, Nürburgring, and any of our other circuits, or even do some endurance racing with us here on ACC, but not just ACC, also LMU and iRacing. Go over but don't know where to start regarding your gear, head on over to the likes of EG Evolved, your premium seller of everything simulator, from driving all the way over to flight simulators. They have a wide range of stock, from custom built EG Evolved simulators all the way over to the likes of Next Level Racing, Sim Magic, and top tier brands all out there. So head on over to EG Evolved, tell them you learned from there about them all the way at RaceFace.Pro, and you might get a little something there. I'm not saying you should, you will, you might get a little something. Now also another question will be, where do you join this racing going on circuit? As we take a look at our silver leader, Chantal Hansing, out of the pits, comes Donovan Leah, getting lapped by our silver leader. But how do you join us here at RaceFace.Pro? If you open down into the description, you will see a Discord link. Head on over there and join us here at RaceFace.Pro in the Discord community and get all the sim action that you want from ACC, iRacing, and LMU. We do it all. Whatever tickles your fancy, you can join us there, and all information will be there. hoping to see you all on track the next time we go racing. But back on circuit. Let's take a look here. Marcus Everingham circulating, getting caught between our Lexus of Jason Randall and the BMW, getting quite screwed there in the back of the BMW. It's not Donovan there because that is not the problem. Gianluca Polverosa, there we go. Gianluca there in the background, making his way. Jason Randall jumping out of the way to get due to cutting their course, of course, catching out many of our drivers, and unfortunately fumbling and having to take the escape road. But in the top 6, we have Pauline Green into the pits to serve his pit stop to get that sort of new tires going on, fuel going in the car, getting some work done, hopefully not actually work done after a bit of a spin. Moves on. Jason Randall also into the pits to give a really good for our AM silver leader Chantal Hansen. All the way in third place. Jaco Grobler, after a bit of a spin, is now having to fold his mirrors in once again, because guess who is right behind him, ladies and gentlemen? It is the other Harris brother, Andrew, hoping to get retribution for his brother Kieran Harris, who's currently sitting in 21st with the fastest lap. But Andrew fighting his own battle, but trying to keep the Harris name high and get that podium there. But Jaco still has to do the pit stop. Andrew still has to do the pit stop. Everyone in our, you can say, top 7 still have to do a pit stop. Maybe even top 6 with, I believe, Jaco van der Walt, Jacobus van der Walt, still needing to do his, or already having done his pit stop. So, a bit of shaking going on here. But these two fighting it out. Our closest battle currently on circuit between two of them, being separated by not much. Last time around, Jaco Grobler being about almost a second faster over Andrew Harris there and putting a bit of a gap. But the Mustang still trying to close down the gap on the BMW. The Mustang being a bit younger compared to the BMW. However, I don't believe we are running the BMW M4 Evo, which is the newer, updated spec of the BMW M4. Of course, the BMW M4 being made famous to us South Africans as being driven by one of the Van der Linde brothers, Sheldon Van der Linde, and then later being joined with forces such as his his twin brother, not twin brother, or younger brother, not sure which one, but the other brother, Cal Van der Linde, and both of them now racing for the team WRT and have teamed up the past weekend to fight out at Bathurst in the BMW. Fortunately, not having the result I wanted, but still good to see the South African flag racing being waved high there in the real world day. But into the pits come our leader, Alexander Everingham. Let's take a look at this pit stop, see if we can get it done. But that will promote Rick Thomas all the way into first position and Jaco Grobler into second. And Jazz will also promoted into third position as everybody, as the timing tower now outplaced and Chantal Hansen. This is quite a long stop. Might have caught it right there at the beginning, so we are not 100% sure what is happening at the jobs. The car fires it up and away we go. So it's a typical normal one, but he might have had some side damage that he needed to take care of due to the contact that was happening earlier there between himself and Kieran, as that was unfortunately the race start that has thrown our championship battle leaders into a battle and dropping off his back. Chris Streff again also into the pits as we see Alexander Everingham exiting having to deal with traffic, and unfortunately one of the Mustang Sean races now is losing out a bit of drive there. That will not be Jacobus van der Walt. No, that will be another backmarker Mustang. That will be Kieran Harris making his way and getting some track position as fighting his way there. But we do have an accident again. Jaco Grobler and car, not Jaco Grobler. I wonder if we might have had a bit of an off track there. So this is something on our timing towers lighting up, saying that we have a bit of an excursion going on there. Might have had a bit of a tap with car 43, not 100% sure. But takes the defensive line into what is known as turn 1, this little kink here, and then into the Andretti hairpin turn 2, making a difficult move for Andrew Harris to get any sort of gripe or feel on how to get past Jakob. Further out on track, we have Marcus Fraser having to hold back Lucas Japan. This is our closest fight currently, as well as Timothy Thornton. Both Mercedes engines hunting down in front of them there, but Lucas having to make space for faster lapping cars. So blue flag cars, you don't have to jump out of the way immediately. However, you do have to assist the pass by just lifting off the throttle as best as possible and just allowing the car in front to go through. Marcus Fraser now having to navigate a very fast flying Mustang all the way through, and then right behind another Fenter trying to catch up. So this is another battle having to navigate through the traffic. That would be really Fenter, as well as Jacobus van der Walt. I'm going to call you Jaco. I do apologize for that, Jacobus, but bit run. Why they contact? That is contact between the two cars that were fighting for position. Let's see if we can get a bit of a helmet view from that about 10 seconds ago. Not 10 seconds left, but I mean, take a look at the comms box there. Let's go a bit about 30 seconds back, see if we can get any action here. So here we go. On board, a bit of a bad run, and also a car stopped on track. Corbus having to take a bit of evasive action and not having the run that he would have wanted. Unfortunately, really not what he would have wanted. And Ricky, look at that damage on that front of that Mustang. That is gonna hurt him. But Matty, if you have contact with Palmarosa, in any shape or form, I do ask, please, he is more than welcome to join us in the commentary box. It's not just for the podium finishes, it is open to anybody who wants to talk, and I'm more than happy to pull them out and get their thoughts on their race as well. But take a look at this, in the front, Jaco Grobler fighting it out, never mind, into the pits. Just as soon as he gets camera action, he pulls into the pits. That will promote the likes of Andrew Harris into the lead. So again, we have another Harris leading the way, and this time it is Andrew and not Herod, as we do see a personal best for car 907. Car 907 being on Steve in the Mercury, setting a 26 second flat into the pits now, as well as Chantal Hansen, our AM silver leader, into the pits to get her pit stop done with 42 minutes to go. Will we see another bunch of stops being completed again by our drivers, or is this their final stops? Alexander Everingham being promoted into second position after downing his stop earlier, and now hoping to re-inherit the lead after Andrew Harris goes and does his pit stop. You see the likes of Robert and Chantal. Chantal's currently stationary, but Robert rolling and heading out to go back onto the circuit, having to do a few amount of work to get back to where he was before. However, it is not over until the checkered flag comes out, and the car out that's currently in the pits. Unfortunately, we have lost the likes of John Coulter, but Leon Swan, if anyone in the virtual grandstand has contact with Leon, I urge you, I beg you, get onto the comms with him and tell him we want to see him finish the race. We want to see him see that checkered flag, because we do want to see all our drivers as best as possible get around the circuit as well as finish the races. We do have another time rotation on Donny Bosch after a great race last week. Unfortunately, having some internet issues, as we have seen earlier blinking, and that's unfortunately moved him from the servers. But Rick Thomas having to navigate through some back market traffic. This is a fight between the likes of Rudy Fenter as well as Fenter having a bit of clean air. So Fenter is actually trying to attack Rick Thomas. Rick already having done his pit stop. Rick Faint still needing to do his pit stop. So drivers are really trying to make the most out of it in order to maximize what he can do. Really also has to be mindful of how he is going to attack this. This is not his fight. His fight is with other drivers out on circuit who have done his pit stop and him not having done it yet. So Rick Thomas can focus forward, fold in those mirrors, and turn off that little thank you to our camera crew for showcasing that little dash there next to his rev counter to just turn that off so he doesn't need to see where the lights are really fainting is. But back to our TV cameras on the outside. Beautiful shots getting here by Tim the cameraman as we have a yellow flag for car number 7. Car number 7 is Ron Scholes again, unfortunately. Maybe going for a bit of an excursion there and kicking up some gravel as we do see Marcus Fraser into the pits again, now exiting. But Ruan Scholes having some damage on the front of the Bentley, all around that Bentley. Now this Bentley, more commonly known for us as the Boatley, unfortunately not having the race he would have wanted, leading to some little bit of some amount of issues, unfortunately. They're not what he would have wanted to do, as we have just a bit of information coming in here from information from our directing crew in any shape or form here. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we have received confirmation that Donny Bosch has disconnected from the race and unfortunately is not able to continue. But also the reason for Jean-Claude saying he is keeps on having some issues with some mechanical issues with the car before she had to retire the car. That is absolutely gut-wrenching news for our drivers. So, and again, oh my, it is absolutely gut-wrenching news, ladies and gentlemen. We have just received news from the garage of Leon Swan saying his downshifter pedal has snapped. Meaning the Lambo says, I want to downshift faster. He downshifted faster, but the carbon fiber, unfortunately not being enough, as we do see Alan Palmarosa into the pits with a very badly damaged McLaren 720S Evo. Not what we would have wanted to see, as he's hoping to fix that, but we'll also see the likes of Ruan Scholes going out there. So still my heart goes out to Leon there, as we do get, as we have a bit of an F into the wall. Here's Chantal Hansen. For his second stop, ladies and gentlemen. Does she underfuel? I do believe that's underfueling. So she has to go and do another pit stop. But Leon Swan, if you do want to, you're more than welcome to join me in the commentary box and give us a bit of insight of how you experienced it out there. How was the start for Laguna Seca here? But unfortunately, some incidents involving other drivers and some mechanical failures for many of our drivers out there. It is absolutely heartbreaking to see this happen. Hansen getting her final splash and dash done as she is heading out there, giving up her lead in the AM silver class, and is now currently second. Might be losing a few more positions as the drivers are navigating their way past her. Currently on circuit, our closest battle is between Jaco Engelbrecht as well as Marcus Fraser and BMW versus McLaren 720S Evo. Who is going to be the best? The Munich Motorsport versus Racing Snails ZA. One of Racing Snails cars out there on the circuit. Some good action out there tonight on circuit, ladies and gentlemen. The drivers having to dip the wheels into the sand sometimes, maybe running wide. The gravel trap around this Laguna Seca is very dangerous. Place one foot wrong and guess what? You will unfortunately be kicked wide. Take a look at the rear wing of the McLaren of the likes Frazen. The BMW hunting him down there. Again, that deadly little sausage curve that has allowed Jaco Engelbrecht to sneak on through, giving him the advantage. And now it's attack mode instead of defense mode for Marcus Frazen. Again, getting the corkscrew all wrong. Is this going to be a bit of a switchback? Nope. Getting pushed, but getting a bit wrong there. McLaren not very happy around the circuit, having to deal with some issues there. But take a look at this. Kieran Harris in the 20th position, fighting his way back up the field. Some good action all up and down. This was our closest battle here. And we'll take a bit of a look into what's going on here. Fortunately, nothing received yet from our production crew, saying that we've got one of the drivers in the waiting area to give us a bit of information. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. See the drivers just struggling. Laguna Seca, not a circuit loved by many, but a circuit that is definitely technically challenging, as well as just entertainment. The drivers need to avoid jumbo sausage curbs, as well as other cars who lose it on corner exits or in corner entry. Over individual grandstand, Matty OF98 saying, or Matty of 98 saying, let's get hyped for Jean-Luc Pomerosa, bring it back up the board. That is what we like to see. Yes, get your cheers out there, ladies and gentlemen. Get your fans screaming there. As I'm trying to see where Jean-Luc is. Jean-Luc is currently in the pits, 22nd, fighting his way up, getting his pit stop done, as he will be heading out onto the board again. Rick Thomas into the pits again. His second stop, so many of our drivers having to go again for our second stop. Rick triggering it earlier to get it sorted, but I wonder if he might have accelerated a bit too early there, as we do see sorry, my apologies, man, but Kieran Harris setting another fastest lap, an absolute blister of a pace of 122.6. That is absolutely flying. He is only about 5 laps now down compared to our leaders, but he is absolutely putting in a show for us, trying to get back into final position. Only 2 laps down, apologies. Only 2 laps down, so 2 laps back, he set the new fastest lap again. And as I say that again, ladies and gentlemen, he has set another fastest lap, a 122.572. As we see a spinner, that Bentley not being happy and not being treated well there. I think he might have hit the wall there as we take a look at Rick Thomas, but a 22.5. That is absolutely amazing. Not close to the times we see our pros and pro-ams run of 121s, but still, this is blistering race times. Still, a 22.5 is absolutely amazing. So really well done to that time. Let's see if we can improve it and get it close to that 121s. I'm placing that challenge out there for you, Kieran. If he's listening, by the time I'm saying, listen, the commentator is challenging you to go even faster. I want to see those lap times come down even more. But take a look at the front again. Alexander Everingham leading the charge from green till now. Still setting good lap times, only running 123s, not able to really crack anything sub 23s there. In third place currently we have Rudy Fainter, still needing to box in Roadster Racing in the Porsche, fighting it out there. I believe it's a lone Porsche on circuit. So well done for that Porsche for going. Porsche, a very difficult car to drive. The rear always lively with that flat 6 over the rear axle, making it a I do believe a rear engine car. I'm not 100% sure, I might say correctly, compared to the likes of our mid engines such as the Ferrari and the McLaren. The reason for that is the car is in front of the rear axle, not right above it, so that's why calling it a mid engine car. 1 minute flat around Laguna will be a bit of a challenge there, Matt, but I won't see him without cutting the circuit. That will be definitely something to do. Maybe in a prototype car, but otherwise, I don't believe it's possible there. But Chantal Hansen has retaken the lead for AM Silver category after qualifying second in the class. She has gained the lead, regained the lead, and continuing as he drifted around that corner absolutely stunningly, as she is now currently circulating in the lead again, just continuing after Jean-Luc Barbarossa having an absolute crash and now just circulating back to back. But I do kind of want to go and see the leaders have an onboard, a helmet shot from our leaders, an onboard view to see how they are struggling or just how they are negotiating these cars. So we have seen it before as they go to the auction, but let's wait for as they go aboard for a lap around the Laguna Seca, as we see a bunch of pit stop rounds getting done with Rudy Fenter into the pits and Spa-Francorchamps also first promoting Grobler into second and Rick Thomas into third. But Volley also is pit as well as Young still needs to do their pit as leaders come into turn 9 with the rainy curve, a very positive cambered corner. Laguna having a lot of positive cambered corners, and then into the final. Let's jump on board and listen and see how the BMW attacks Laguna Seca as it crosses the line. Jean-Luc going and doing a lap, fighting the car, and then at the end of the lap goes and box. But it was interesting to see how the driver was fighting the car in order to get it around the circuit. Laguna Seca, not an easy circuit to race and not an easy circuit to master. With Jakob now taking the lead from Alexander Everingham, and Rick Thomas also jumping Alexander. So Rick Thomas has already done his second stop and has been promoted to the lead. Now this is all for him to win. It is his to lose. If he has enough fuel in the last for the last couple of laps, it is his to win. The undercut proving to be the strongest. And I'm going to be a bit biased, ladies and gentlemen. I absolutely love the number next to his name, car number 14. That is a car number close to my heart. It is a racing number that I started with before I finally settled on my number. But it's great to see number 14 leading the way, as well as for Rick Thomas and Extreme Sim Racing to go and take the charge here. But Alexander Everingham out of the box for his final stop completed, and now will be racing over to the end, hoping to get closer to Rick Thomas to get that first place back. But leading the way, Jakob Grobler still leading, and oh, as we see Timothy Fulyoun having a bit of a moment there out of turn 10, snapping the car sideways, and not what you would want to see as you enter the corner, especially if you are the leader. But Jakob Grobler setting a 24.2, not as fast as that, but still around the average lap time, as Kieran Harris still continues lapping. He's consistently running 22s now, ladies and gentlemen. He is a man on a mission. He is set his sights on what he wants to achieve. He has said, I can confirm, he is a top 10 in his class. want to have him higher up, of course, to go and fight it out there for our top 10 overall there. But even top 15 will make him quite happy, I believe, as it is a phenomenal drive back from the back of the pack all the way to the top 20. So really well done, at our leader. But further out on circuit, our closest battle at the moment, Chris Greer needing to defend against the screaming Porsche of Rudy Fenter. Extreme Sim Racing having to go in our fights for second as well as for fifth. Penultimate, the net lead for Rick Thomas in the McLaren, but fifth place for Chris Greer currently as he is having to defend against Rudy Fenter in the background. Then Marcus Fraser still having to fight it out with not Kieran Harris twice. I thought that was Kieran Harris there. Kieran Harris there. No, that is a lap car. But next to come by is, I wasn't sure who that was entirely there. Racing Snails. That is Kieran Harris. That's the fight. Ladies and gentlemen, Kieran Harris having to fight it out with Marcus Fraser. Two different classes. McLaren versus Ford. Mid-engine versus front engine. Bit of a squeeze contact. Not what we would have wanted at all, ladies and gentlemen. Not what we would have wanted. Let's see if we can get a bit of a better view there. About, let's go for 30 seconds back into turn one. Helmet cam for the life of Marcus Fraser. Take a look at Kieran Harris on the outside currently. Drifts wide, clips the left rear of Kieran Harris. Luckily, Kieran Harris able to save it out of the wall, but not going to be a happy camper regarding that. All the hard work out the window. That might be something that will get settled in the steward's office. Negrini Motorsports not happy being fouled up by a Racing Snails, but car 369, that is Belize, having a bit of a accident, it looks like, once again. Let's take a quick look back here. Might have missed it, might have been an accident on his own accord, but Kieran Harris going from bad to worse after getting second place in qualifying, now having to go into the pit box. I do hope that he is not going to park the car now here and then say that is it, I'm not continuing this race, please have me wrong. I really hope that's human, because if he does, then who's ever part of that Racing Snails team, please, I beg of you, get into that communications channel. Okay, it's bit fixing, might have had a bent steering. Car is off. That is the rules for ACC. Car needs to be off. Otherwise, you are not allowed in any shape or form to work on the car. That's the cockpit view. That's not what we wanted. There we go. Bit better. Car is off. 30 seconds is the time limit, or is how long a pit stop normally takes, as he's dropping down the field. Hate to see that, but car 30 seconds off, then whatever additional car drops, fires up and goes. Well done to Kieran Harris. Proud of you, man. Proud of you for continuing the race and not giving up just yet. Back out on circuit, Jaco Grissel currently in a fight with, not in a fight, just cruising on his own with Gianluca Palmarosa behind him, currently just running. Charge is Jaco Grissel still on his own, needing to still do a pit stop. Well, a second stop, having done his first one, but leading the race. He is going to be quite a happy camper there. But Rick Thomas right behind him. Rick Thomas needing to go and just keep on rolling. His best lap at 23.5, his last lap at 24.2. But Alexander Everingham is currently in third with Volley Negrini in fourth position. These two not currently close to one another, but still working there. But let's take a look here. Gianluca Palmarosa, does he have a bit of damage? No, he might have a bit. That just seems to be normal wear and tear regarding dirt from the grime and gravel, and just a bunch of debris from the circuit getting kicked up onto that beautiful white livery of Racing Snails. White, beautiful car, beautiful color scheme. Not the easiest to clean. If you are always questioning your color choice, always go over to Kazoo Racing and their prototype class. But we do have Airwolf in the chat saying Bosch Wi-Fi Racing. Unfortunately, we saw that note from our production crew saying that has happened, and it is absolutely gut-wrenching, Leon. I didn't know that, but absolutely gut-wrenching to have that happen for you, as that is not what I want. Side by side through the corkscrew, not very smart, and also very, very brave. This is not full position, ladies and gentlemen. That was not full position. That was Palmarosa and Jason Randall fighting it out there for no particular reason. Not even for the same class, but not for the same part of track. Volnegrini, take a look at this battle, ladies and gentlemen. 4th and 5th in class as well as overall. Rudy Fenter, Volnegrini, after a bit of earlier contact at Nürburgring for Volley, he is now having his sights set on a 4th, possibly a 3rd place. So unless Rudy Fenter has something to say, Rudy having a phenomenal drive last week, a fight back of note, is now seeing himself fight for 3rd as we have contact between car 76 as well as car 46. Let's take a quick look back here, about 10 seconds back. What has happened? Oh, unfortunately, just missed that little bit there. We might have to go back 30 seconds if we can. No, we cannot, unfortunately. Let's see, 30 seconds. There we go, much better. Ah, death curb into his own teammate. That is car 46, and that is Alan Palmarosa. Gone from bad to worse for the Palmarosa brothers. Not where you wanted to go. Bad to worse for the Racing Snails. For the top runners, though, unfortunately not what he would have wanted. And that is going to be gut-wrenching moments there. But switching back over to Wally Negrini and Rudy Fenter. We do hear a car, Wally Negrini into the pits for a second pit stop. Just to switch back there as we go back to live pictures. Rudy Fenter being promoted into 4th place now. Wally Negrini saying, I'm rather going to go in and get my pit stop done and dusted, and then we go forward from there. Do note of our top 3, the top 4, the drivers who still haven't pitted yet was Jakob Robler and Rudy Fenter. These are the 2 cars that still need 2 boxes. As seen in the virtual grandstand there, Donnie is saying there he had high hopes for this race. Unfortunately, that is the gut-wrenching moments of sim racing. Mechanical failures, unfortunately, getting there and just saying some issues there. And contact in the earlier shot there for Timothy Fulyun, as well as car number 4 are getting clipped on the rear. Our stewards are going to have their hands busy. Timothy Fulyun and car number 76, not Donovan Lair. Donovan Lair having just an accident again just now. It looks to be... Nope, sorry, no. Fortunately not, just car number 4 having a bit of a clip for front marks, which has sent him spinning there. This is the race. As I say that, there is a Mercedes always spun around. I'm trying to find out which one that was. That will be Lucas Hubert. Let's see what happened here, ladies and gentlemen. For getting the rear end of it, seems to be either spun around, clipped on the rear, and just shoved into the gravel. Well done to keep it out the wall. I will say the walls of Laguna get quite close to you very, very fast. Yeah, unfortunately tonight the stewards are going to be very, very busy. I'm glad I do not have to sit into that meeting, into those stewarding decisions, as it's going to be quite crazy. But take a look at this. Our leader, Jakob Hrobler, leading in front of Kieran Harris. Kieran, after having contact with one of the other cars, another McLaren, not 100% sure. Contact there, fortunately, and spin out and having to get some damage fixed, I believe. He's now right here, hoping to unlap himself, showcasing his pace again. No personal fast laps have been set ever since Kieran has gone and set his fastest lap of the race yet, which was a 22.5. No other time has been set once again. But Jakob Robert making the mindful choice, just let Kieran through as the battle goes on. Donovan Lair having a battle, not a battle really, but carrying damage on the car, letting one of his teammates through there. Not for position though, that will be one of the other drivers. This seems to be one of the Harris brothers, that will be Andrew Harris. Andrew Harris higher up in the standings tonight, and now seeming to be dropping down. Was in the top 4, unfortunately, having the same race that he had last week, getting involved in an incident and carrying some damage on that car, as we see on that side. They look at that front bumper, bit scrapes and bashed all around. Not what he would have wanted, unfortunately. Greenie finally out of circuit with 8th position again, just circulating around now, having to navigate past the likes of Chantal Hansen. Not going to happen, as Chantal has already done her second box, so all that Volley can do is just follow Chantal Hansen through, as well as we have Cobus van der Valk. Cobus has also completed all of his stops. So there's quite a close battle between the two of them, not for class position but for track overall position. Chantal Hansen, Howard and silver driver, as we have a white flag in the background for a slow moving car. Car 67 and car 97, that would be Rob van Steen, and 67 will be Gianluca Palmarosa. Let's see if we can get anything. Unfortunately, no, but we can see the BMW for the ground chaps. I wonder if it got tripped around and spun around, not what we would have wanted, just to really off that axle. A night full of accidents, a night full of heartbreak. It seems that Laguna Seca has proven to be quite a challenge for our drivers. As we go back to live pictures right now here, Kieran Harris still having the fastest lap of 122.5 as we head into the final 14 minutes of this race. It has been one of entertainment and heartbreak. My throat is absolutely raw from all the excitement. Rick Thomas setting his sights over to Jakob Hobler, who's heading currently into turn 1. Just take a look at this. We have yellow flags again. Might have just a bit of gravel getting kicked up now, but yellow flags still going. Take a look. Helicam. So we get a good shot here. There's one of the Extreme Sim Racing cars in the background. That is not the Rick Thomas. Harris into the pits once again. Let's see if this is a normal pit entry or if this is a tow. Let's go back here. Yeah, normal pit entry. That is good to know, luckily, as we do have to wait now to go back to live pictures, as we have a bit of a delay here just to see what's going on there. That nose on the car not looking very happy, one can say. No, I've learned the old way. It's an old wife's trick. A cup of warm hot tea and then a little bit of honey is all the doctor order. It beats flus, colds, and everything out there. As I might be getting a bit of a sword in the wrist from my co-commentator on the pro side. Again, our thoughts are with him. Nothing too serious, but still wish him the best recovery out there. So really thinking of you, the best family. But out on circuit, Jacobus van der Walt getting fouled up in traffic. Take a look in the next shot. There is Chantal Hansen. That is the next place position. Why is he slowing down? Is he having some damage? That is not what we would have wanted to see, ladies and gentlemen. What is it going on? Is he dead a power cycle? Is it engine issues that has promoted Chantal Hansen into P6? Is this a bit of an issue that is going to play there? But everybody out there now. That's what I'm curious to know, ladies and gentlemen. What has gone on? Sneaking on through, saying thank you very much. I'll take this position. Set to the side onto Chris Reeve. What has gone on with that Mustang? Bernardini, in 8th position, having to close down, not benefiting anyway from Jacobus van der Walt going onto a standstill. Battle so far. Look, just waiting for our final leaders doing their final stop. Jaco Grobler is doing a phenomenal job at keeping his car alive. There in the background, just exiting the final corner, we see Rick Thomas. Accident 907 once again. What has happened? Rob Van Steen. Let's take a quick. That just came onto our board. Contact. That is with the BMW car number 67. 67. That is Gianluca Palmarosa. Side by side contact. Stewards are going to have their hands full. I do not want to be in that stewarding office tonight. It is absolute carnage. Absolute cars being limping all the way home as we head into the final 10 minutes 15 seconds of this race. I'm on the edge of my seat, and I don't know if you are, but it has been absolutely fantastic racing. I can't wait to see what is going to happen to the very end then as we go on for this final 10 minutes of racing. After a quick little pit stop of my own of just refreshing the vocal cords, ladies and gentlemen, we are back for the final 9 minutes of racing here as Rick Thomas sets his sights on Jaco Grobler, hoping to use his teammate as a bit of a slipstream to drag him closer to the BMW of Grobler to go and fight that out there. But back to some more sponsorship shout out. Thank you to EG Evolve for sponsoring our season 25 GT3 Championship here at RaceFace.Pro. If you do wish to join us, head on over down to the description and get onto the Discord there, where you'll find all the information to join us for ACC, iRacing, as well as LMU, with our iRacing season kicking off the 3rd of March. But all of that information will come out more later, as we do have another contact between car 777 and car 33. Car 777, Jacobus van der Walt. What has happened here? Go back a bit of a while here. And car 33 and car 7 might be two different cars. Nope. Up ahead is 777. That 777 looks to be this 777 and then 777 there. Unfortunately, going in a bit too hot. Being a blue flag is the likes of Andrew Harris. Got from bad to worse, and unfortunately not how he would have wanted it to go. Back again. For all your sim racing equipment as well as your flight simulator equipment, head on over to EG Evolved Simulators. They have got great specials, great deals, and top-notch equipment. Do go out there and give a shout out and tell them you learn about them all the way here from RaceFace.Pro. Contact Andres and he will be able to hook you up there, whether your passion is sim racing or flight simulator. They've got it all. Again, over to our leader, Jaco Grobler, exiting the pits, having done his final pit stop, and Rudy Fenter exiting the final corner now. Jaco Grobler out, pit exit. He is fighting for 3rd, ladies and gentlemen. Rick Thomas into 1st. Alexander Everingham into 2nd. Jaco Grobler fighting for 3rd. This is going to be a fight. In the background, we will hear the car of Rudy Fenter hard on the brakes, shifting down the gears for the turn 2 and ready happen. Jaco Grobler exiting in 3rd position. This race has gone absolutely great for him, as he wants the Palmarosa brothers there in the front shot there, but in the background we see the Rudy Fenter in the Porsche gunning it all the way towards Jaco Grobler. Rudy Fenter, his last lap time around was a 25.0, but Rudy still has to pit, I believe. He has not done his 2nd stop yet as we enter into the closing moments of our race here. Round 3 of Laguna Seca of our GT3 Season 25 Championship. It's all to play for 3rd position. Jacobus van der Walt. Right behind him is a bunch of, there goes Kieran Harris, Mustang going through, and right behind him, the other Harris brother, Andrew, having to fight his way through there after an earlier contact. Minding out of the way is Jacobus van der Walt of Rabbit Raccoon Racing. Look at that shot. Mustang. Beautiful American muscle circulating his way around a piece of American history. We've seen many endurance races as well as a good battle between Jan Magnussen as well as a Porsche driver in one of the IMSA races many years back, where they still were running the GTEs. But mining out the way there of the drivers. Let's take a look again at our battle for third position. Jaco Grobler leading there in the background. Rudy Venter drifting it all the way around turn 3. Turn 3 now going to the 4. Now up into turn 5. Hard braking. Chucks it to the left hand side. And it's the long uphill run into turn 6, which connects all the way to the Rahal Straight. A long uphill climb before it plummets 5 stories all the way down through the corkscrew onto the Rahal Straight. Then switches over to the left hand side, lines it up, straight lines it into the corkscrew. The gravity, the force, the G-force as the car pulls you down, and the driver just floats there. The weightlessness as you drop through the corkscrew. Brings all the way through Rainy Curve and into turn 10 before they start the final run into turn 11, and then finally over the pit stop straight. 5 minutes to go. 4 minutes 45 seconds. That is what is all to play for, ladies and gentlemen. Colin Negrini closing the gap onto Jacobus van Volt. Jacobus not really moving. Chantal Hansen still up ahead as he runs wide. Jacobus van Volt not having a race to remember. Watch the rejoin. Careful there as Von Steen has to take avoiding action, and Timothy close behind, having to almost take avoiding action then once again. Rudy Venter though going faster than Jaco Grobler, having his tires warmer. There we go. Closer gap. A much closer gap. Will he be able to hold it off, Jaco Grobler? Having gone back to the sim that started it all, will he be able to claim a podium in only his second race back on ACC? Take a look at the time tower the next time they come around to see what the lap times were. Rudy Venter showing a bit more pace in that Porsche compared to the BMW, being 0.22 tenths faster on the best lap compared to the likes of Jaco Grobler. But 3 minutes 30 to go. That's about 3 laps remaining for our race tonight. It is absolute edge of seat moments here, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely heart in mouth moments, heart-breaking moments for many of our races there, but also some great recovery drives from the likes of Kieran Harris. Getting some more reports of drivers, unfortunately, facing some disconnects out there tonight. Not very well onto the apologies for that. Bit of a blimp in the camera connections there. But look at this. 1 second separates third and fourth. 1 second is all which stands between podium glory or the first non-podium finisher. Jaco Grobler, knowing the circuit quite well, having spent a lot of time on it. Rudy Venter has his sights set. Does he have enough fuel in that car in order to be able to get there? It's all to play for. Will everything work out for Jaco Grobler? We do not know. Ooh, that is still a bit of an issue there. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go, much better now. Our camera losing a bit of signal there, but this is the fight to watch. Rudy Venter, Jaco Grobler, third position. Who is it going to be? Who is going to take that final step on the podium for our pro? Well, these guys are almost like pros in my heart. They are pros in the fans in the virtual grandstand. Who is going to take that final step on our podium for our AM, gold, and silver? 1 minute 42 to go. 2 laps to go, ladies and gentlemen. 2 laps, back marker in front of him, going to use that slipstream to pull him along. Hopefully mining out the way is the back marker, not to get involved in this fight. Jaco Grobler needs to defend for 2 more laps. 2 more laps till we get our warning from our spotter saying runs a bit wide. Rudy Venter there saying final lap. Leader has started the final lap. This is the fight to watch. Who is it going to be? In front, Rick Thomas leading the way for Extreme Sim Racing after a bad race at Nürburgring. Second place, Alexander Everingham trying to close the gap, not enough. Leading most of the race, unfortunately, pit stops not working out for him. Jaco Grobler in third, leading our AM Silver, Chantal Hansen, having put on a great skill of speed once again. And then all the way in second place, we have Matt Myberg, 9th overall. Great pace from him after a bad race there. And then Jason Randall in the lone Lexus, still showing some great pace. Back into our third position fight. Jaco Grobler having to defend against Rudy Fenter for 2 more laps.
Final lap now.
There we get final warning, final confirmation. Leaders on final lap. Grobler holding in third, going through the Rady curve, going into turn 10, having a back mark in front of him. He's going to be screaming through his helmet saying, get that car out my way, get that car out my way. That is an extreme racing Porsche. He is starting to play it safe up the inside, plays it safe. That has allowed Rudy Fenter to close right on up. It's going to be all across the line now. It's a flat out sprint this entire race. Who's going to be the bravest on the brakes? Going into a JT hairpin. Who's going to be the bravest? Looking to go for the inside line. Rudy Fenter not able to make it. Not able to make it. Best on the brakes. Jaco Fenter still holds position. Runs a bit deep. Both drivers riding deep. Oh boy, my voice is going to be sore, ladies and gentlemen. Both drivers making mistakes on the brakes. Not able to hold it there. Not able to hold it. This is a fight of note. Going wide, Jaco parking it on the apex. Rudy not very happy there, flashing a bit of lights. Jaco needing to hold his line, needing to be defensive, no moving under braking. Play it safe, Jaco. Play it to the best of your advantage. Go for it and keep it there. But over to our leaders quickly while this battle goes on. Rick Thomas into the final corner. Going to see the checkered flag. Going to be smiling into here for Extreme Racing. Rick Thomas goes and claims victory in round 3 of our GT3.
The leader has finished the race.
Alexander Everingham going through the final corner now and taking second, but back to our third place battle. Jaco Grobler alongside, side by side, contact, no, both spin. Jaco able not to hold it, Is it going to be gentlemen's? No, it's going to be settled in the steward's office, ladies and gentlemen. That is contact, heartbreak moments, heartbreak for Jaco Grobler, having fought so hard, is not going to be standing on that final podium step of the final. He might even lose another position to the likes of Chris Schiff. No, Chris Schiff not able to do it. But Jaco Grobler going and getting fourth, might have to take this to the stewarding office. Heartbreak moment. Rudy Fenter getting third, Jaco Grobler getting fourth, with Chris Schiff following in fifth. Chantal Hansen going through the rainy curve for the final time into turn 10 for the final time. It is going to be back-to-back victories for the lady on a mission. Sets her sight onto P1 in her class. Not going to give away this championship just yet. Chantal Hansen goes across the line and becomes back-to-back round winners here in season 25 of our GT3 Championship. Well done to Chantal Hansen there. Matt Myberg taking second place there also on there. And then Jason Randall claiming third for our AM Silver class. Ladies and gentlemen, that was been some fantastic racing. I can't say anything else other than wow. Edge of seat entertainment as we wait for the drivers to head on over to our commentary box as we wait and get some highlights going for you. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, as we look at a few amount of our highlights for our race that we witnessed out here tonight. There we go, a bit much easier there. Let's take a look at who wants to join me in the commentary box to spend a bit of time just gossiping. A bit of not so nice moments and who wants to come join me in the commentary box? Of course, no one else than the amazing Chantal Hansen. Welcome to the commentary box for a second time in a row. You have done absolutely phenomenal. The woman on a mission, setting the pace, saying that it wasn't just a once-off at Nürburgring. It is here to stay. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Now, you qualified second for your class at the beginning, but then you just constant pace and then kept on going. Unfortunately, John Luca losing it out there and having some incidents, but you were just going there and even battling it out
got
again.
The position for me.
Yes, and then even continue to battle it out you still continue to battle it out with some of our gold guys. Does that mean you're showing in the challenge saying, I'm not that slow, I am going to fight you?
Well, I'm just saying that if it's for position, no matter the, I guess, division, it's open to race, is it not?
That is absolutely true. I mean, also fair out on circuit, you can choose your battles you want to fight, but also who you don't want to fight.
Some of them I did let pass because I know they're faster. For example, Kieran. I just let him pass because I know I can't keep up with him at all. So he went past me. I'd rather let him go than cause an incident that doesn't help either of us.
Well, absolutely, that's smart playing and many strategy. Many drivers have followed with Kieran, unfortunately, getting involved in an incident on lap 1 there. But you took the win in your class, but also 6 overall. You are climbing up the ranks. Are you a name that we need to keep an eye on as you place that trophy, championship trophy, with a firm grasp in your hand?
I hope so. I'm trying my best. I'm sick at the moment and I have a fever and everything, but I tried. I could have done better if I did actually not feel bad, but also it could have gone worse, I guess, and I could have been involved in incidents like the rest of the grid seemed to have. An example is John had a situation with his internet where he missed his pit box and had to reverse because he didn't have fuel to get around, and Leon had a whole situation as well, and his whole shifter, I think it's Leon's shifter or John's shifter, completely broke off during the race. So there's some issues going on at the moment.
Unfortunately, some bad luck going out there for competitors, especially with your two closest rivals for the championship, both experiencing issues. Jean-Luca getting an incident, and then also Jean having some internet issues there. It seems to be plaguing a lot of drivers out there. But before I let you go, if you want to, from my side, I do wish you a speedy recovery. I do recall that you are not a person of few words, of many words. You are very few. You let your driving do the talking, which is always good.
I have one thing I'd like to say.
Mic is yours. Floor is yours.
I'd like all the guys to go and buy their wives some rigs, honestly. It's not fun being the only woman here. So that's definitely something I think they should consider.
Well,
it's actually a fun experience doing it as a couple as well. So,
well, as someone who got introduced to motorsport, well, been following it for a while, but also only got close to it through sim racing. If you don't know if your wife likes racing, take it to a racetrack. That's the fastest way to find out if she likes it or not, and also if you married the right person. But that's just me talking a bunch of nonsense. Chantal, I'm going to let you go. Recover well. Okay, I'm looking forward to seeing you at the next race, and well done.
I haven't driven there, so that's another issue.
That is the beauty of racing. It always takes us to new places at Red Bull Ring. It's all straight. That's pretty much I can tell you. It's quite boring, bit of tricky in section, but all
I know it from watching
straight.
F1, but driving not so much. Thank you so much. I hope you have a good evening.
Thanks, and you too. Chantal Hansen, our silver winner. Now, I'm going to pull in our third place of our overall as well as gold. Rudy Fenter, welcome to the commentary box for the first time. You, after a phenomenal fight back last week, you finally secured a spot on the podium after... Oh, might have lost him a bit there. Hi, Rudy, are you here?
I am listening. Sorry, man.
There you go. No worries. Welcome to the commentary box. As I said, after a great drive back last week, you finally find yourself on the podium. How does it feel after a great battle with Jaco Grobler at the very unfortunately resulting in a bit of contact between the both of you? How do you feel regarding such a phenomenal drive?
Well, yeah, I could have done a lot better, to be honest. I was qualifying. I was hoping to qualify just below top 10, but I did what I did. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to stick to what I have. I've got my routine. I've got my pit stop strategy. I'm going to push it through all the way to the end. And when Grobler on T1, as far as I can remember, I catched up very quickly, and then obviously we had that little incident on the third last corner, and I was just sticking it to the inside, and I could see he's closing the gap, and then we touched. So yeah, I really didn't think I'm gonna get third position, to be honest.
Well, that is the beauty of racing, and also some edge of seat racing there. I mean, everybody in the grandstands was cheering on for that battle. It was a good one there. But I do see we have a few people more in the commentary box lighting up here. So I'm gonna give you the mic. Keep it friendly, keep it PG. You know the rules. Floor's yours. You can give a shout out to anyone, lay a challenge down for whoever you want. The mic's yours, and yeah, enjoy that podium and celebration with your team.
Thank you very much. I just want to shout out to everybody out there, obviously watching my stream as well. And the drivers tonight, thanks a lot for watching out the mirrors, checking out the blue flags and keeping left and making space for our faster guys to come through. And yeah, looking forward to the next race.
Thank you very much there, Rudy Fenter. I'm going to let you guys celebrate there. But Rudy Fenter, our third place overall, as well as our third place in our AM Gold. Next up, I am going to bring in Alexander Everingham, as you are on ACC side. Alex, welcome to the commentary box. I believe for the second time, back-to-back, were we able to do the streams?
No. I didn't make it last time.
Missed out last time. Well, again, it seems like the checkered flag and podium just eludes you, unfortunately. Missing out on the top step, just with some great strategy from your competitor, but also some great driving from you also still stay there. Take us through that lap 1 incident between yourself and Kieran.
Well, I don't know much what happened. So I came in, kept it quite tight on the inside, saw him go wide. So I thought, okay, he's going to fall in behind. But I genuinely didn't see him, so I'm not sure. I do want to watch the replay and see. But yeah, it felt like just a small touch, and then I saw he was on the gravel.
So, some unfortunate race moments there for the likes of Kieran, but also some good moments to you. I mean, I was sad to see you lose that lead from green flag all the way to and then losing it in that final stop, but you showed some great pace there at the very end, really going and putting in some great lap times, running faster than Rick at the end there also. So it showed that you weren't giving it up that easy. You were trying to hunt him down as best as possible.
Yeah, I mean, the strategy was a bit interesting. I had to do 3 stops, unfortunately, but it is what it is. So.
Fortunately, it is what it is, and racing does make it all so fun. But I'm going to give you the mic. You can now go and, well, just give a bit of a shout out if you want to anyone out there in the virtual grandstand, or even lay out a challenge to anyone out there that you want to just say come join us, or if you just anyone out there. I mean, it is February. Yes, Valentine's Day has passed, but that doesn't mean we can't stop spreading the love.
I just want to say shout out to all the racing snails, and yeah, I apologize to Kieran if I did cause that incident. Yeah, see what happened.
Absolutely, all now time to go and reflect on a great race. But Alex, I'm going to let you go, celebrate with the team, and well as a great performance for the racing snails out there tonight.
Perfect, thank you very much.
Now I am going to bring in our overall winner as well as our AM Gold winner, the man who has stolen my racing number and also my car, Rick Thomas of Extreme Sim Racing. Welcome to the commentary box, this time on the top step.
Hello, thank you. I did steal your car and I did get your number as well, so GG's.
Well, you know what they say, it's always, it's a second-hand stuff. I always have to give back to those in need, but I'm just pulling your leg there. It's great. It's great for me as a driver of the old number 14, having gone through and having won championships with the number 14, to see it out there fighting for the lead. So well done. Also, the McLaren is an absolute beautiful machine. Whoever doesn't like it, need to get the eyes checked. But Rick, take us to this race. The entire race, you were just sitting second, third, hovering around there. You had a good fight at the beginning with Alex trying to get close to him. However, you just seem to have had the better pace and also the better strategy.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I think it all came down to strategy, and Alex had an unfortunate game glitch, he says, where he pitted 3 times to get the mandatory pits done. My laps, to be honest, wasn't where I wanted them to be. Sector 2 for the fast left-hander into the corkscrew. I really was not aggressive through that, like I've done through practice. So the lap times weren't there, but I think it was consistent, and I just managed to manage the traffic while putting in the right time so that the traffic is to a minimum. I think that's what carried me at the end. And unfortunate for Kieran, because he was Kieran Harris. He was flying doing 22s, but that first bump in T2, unfortunately for him.
Fortunately, that little bit of an incident at the race opener has thrown Kieran's race down, a bit down the whirlpool of ouchies. However, that has opened up the championship quite a lot, bringing you into the fight even a bit more. I believe you will be taking over the lead of the championship now when the points and everything gets finalized now. But some good racing we've seen throughout the entire race, and some really great moments. What is something that stands out towards you throughout Laguna? And also, how did you experience Laguna? I know many of the drivers are going to say they hate it.
You love it and you hate it. It's a great track to drive, but at the same time it's super scary. It's very quick. I think the worst problem for faster drivers is managing traffic. It's always blue flags, always cars all over the show. I think that's the main problem. But other than that, I think it was a nice race. Most of the blue flags, however, did pull to the side or did lift a bit. So they made managing it very easy for the most part.
Well, you mentioned earlier saying traffic management is, of course, a very important skill for many drivers to master, and it seems like the Laguna Seca is definitely a circuit that does that. Now, going to next week, we're heading to the Red Bull Ring, home of Red Bull, as well as in the high mountains of Austria. How do you feel for the circuit? What do you think your chances are going to be, and do you look forward for the fight you are entering now for this championship?
100%. Red Bull Ring is one of the favorites. I think I can say that from basically everybody. I think most people enjoy Red Bull Ring. But yeah, I've had a couple of good fights in Red Bull Ring before, and I'm hoping to continue the form that I have on Red Bull Ring. So yeah, I think looking forward to next week, looking forward to the championship fight, especially between Alex and Kieran. I think they're really going to bring it next week.
Absolutely, and I agree there. It's absolutely going to be a fight of note. I'm looking forward to see what is going to happen there. But I'm going to let you go celebrate with your teammates. But before we do that, I'm going to give you the mic. The floor is yours. Say what you want, just keep it friendly as always.
I just want to shout out to my teammate Chris Creff, who also was a bit scared about the track, but I see at the end of the day he ended up 5th, made up some good positions, and I want to say GG's to him, well raced, and also well done to every other driver. Laguna's a tough track, but we survived, and on to the next one.
Absolutely, some good words there, and I'm going to let you go to celebrate with the team. Well done to Extreme Sim Racing, and as well done to you for a phenomenal race. Rick Thomas, everybody.
Cheers.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end. Unfortunately, that does mean I will have to say goodbye for now before we head over to Red Bull Ring, Austria. A beautiful, beautiful circuit lodged in the mountainside of, well, I can't remember the entire mountainside. Oh, wait, I do see we have another little driver sneaking in here. Mr. Jean-Luca Palmarosa, welcome to the commentary box. Thank you for joining me. I am curious, let me just quickly fix the volume here on this side. Welcome to the commentary box. And yeah, not the race you would have wanted. Absolutely gut-wrenching start, and then also goes from bad to worse with with a lot more incidents coming your way. Take us through your race.
Yeah, second lap, just before my incident, I saw Andrew Harris, saw his tail step out, so I got on the gas quite quickly because I wanted to take as much advantage of that as I can. And then, yeah, I think I was understeering at the moment that I stomped my foot on the gas and just got a wicked snap oversteer. Car was so badly destroyed after that. I was trying to limp it back to the pits, and the steering wheel just wasn't taking any input, so I had to just teleport back to pits, try repair, and see what I can do after that. And eventually, I managed to catch up to one of the races. I can't remember his name. I think he was in a Merc, and I did have a bit of an incident on him where I tried getting up in the middle because I felt my pace was a bit quicker than his. So I did kind of send it in a bit hard. I think he wasn't expecting that. We had a bit of contact, and then after that, I managed to get on the inside of him again a few laps after, and I think he bumped me out. I can't really say what happened, if it was my fault or his, but it was racing. It was just a tough race, unfortunate incident in the front, and yeah, I mean, I guess it is what it is.
No, absolutely. Unfortunately, you had a lot of fans in the virtual grandstands saying, well, supporting you, specifically Matty of 98, saying that you are his goat. He supports you, and well, all you both sets of brothers out there. I believe Alan is also your brother, correct?
No, they I don't know what they were saying. Alan's actually my father.
Ha! I told
Um,
you. Sorry, I had a bit of a discussion. So we have two brothers fighting in the films of Harris, and then you and your dad. And we've had that in the past
yes,
at RaceFace. Okay, so it's you and your brother, you and your dad. Sorry, you and your dad going and fighting and sharing out the track. That is good family business. Definitely doesn't sour the mood before
yeah,
going to the dinner table.
yeah. No, it's very fun. My dad and I lately, it's all we can speak about is the sim racing. I love it so much. It's the most enjoyable hobby I think I've ever had. All I can think about all day is just coming home and racing. That's the highlight of my day. Uh,
Oh, that is what we always try to what we strive to do here at RaceFace.Pro, but also just in entire South Africa, getting that passion for motorsport, growing in younger generation, but also it's to make it accessible for those that are not able to always get to it. And sim racing bridges that gap perfectly, and we've seen multiple drivers already in the future having make that shift over to the likes of real world racing. And who knows, maybe sometimes we already have some in race face that have done it before, but maybe we might see some of our AM Gold and AM Silver drivers making that jump in the future. You never know. But Jean-Luca, I am so glad you got to join us here. I'm glad to find out more that you're racing with your dad and that you guys are sharing the track together, and hope to see more battles. And also, great fight. Good comeback fight for you there, finishing in 15th after dropping all the way to the back. Well done to you. I take my hats off. You make everyone at RaceFace so proud, and everyone in the virtual grandstand also happy to go and not throw in the hat and see it to the very chicken end. Since you're joining me here, I'm also going to give you the mic. You can say what you want. Keep it friendly.
Thank you.
That's the only rule. And
Yeah.
finally, for our final interview, we have Jean-Luca Palmarosa to send us off before our closing notes.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to thank the guys at RaceFace for organizing the amazing league, all the effort with the streaming. Thank you to you for commentating. Um, I'm a bit upset I couldn't give Chantal a run for money tonight, especially after I called her out last week. But you know what? I'll come back stronger, and hopefully, the plan is both of us will move up to gold and continue um, the battles there. But yeah, thank you to everyone for supporting, and thank you to all the Race Face people for hosting such an amazing event.
Well, it's always good to call out drivers and also good to lay down that little bit of a gauntlet. But thank you, John Luca, for joining us here, and I'm hoping to see you again next week, as I know Chantal is eager and hasn't known doesn't have experience around the Red Bull ring. So hopefully you have a bit more. But I'm going to go celebrate with the family, go celebrate with your teammates, as well as some hard-fought podiums for the rest of your team. John Luca, have a good evening, and we'll see you all. Well, we'll see you next week at the Red Bull ring.
Thank you. Cheers, cheers.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for tonight. I am going to be saying good night from my side. I'm going to say good night. Just drop the volume here a bit, sorry. From my side, I'm saying good night. Thank you for joining me tonight here on the not Pro-Am, the Pro is in my heart, on the Am Gold and Silver stream. I want to thank everybody in the virtual grandstand for going and supporting us. And yes, David today, that is our towards everyone, to you, Matty, to you, David today, Matty of 98, and everyone out there all the way supporting, and every driver who has gone and joined us on the virtual grandstand. From myself, well, before we get to that part, massive shout out to our sponsor, EG Evolved Simulator Rigs, the one-stop shop for all your simulator needs, from racing to flight sims. They've got you covered. If you ever want to get involved in the world of sim racing and you don't know where to start regarding your gear, Andres is the person to contact. If you go there, mention that you might have gone and, heard about us from the likes of RaceFace.Pro, and then we'll have you join us here on the grids for our championship fights. If you don't know where to get our information, go down into the description down below and you will find out all the information there in the Discord link, where you'll find out what calendar is going to happen, what the events are going to be, as well as which simulators we are running. We are running currently LMU and ACC, but tomorrow the grading for our iRacing kicks off, which starts on the 3rd of March. So grading kicks off tomorrow for our iRacing side, which is a one-stop shot. Otherwise, you will be placed in our back of pack grid. However, from my side, I want to say thank you for joining me. Thank you for keeping me company, and we will see you all in the Styrian Mountains at the beautiful Red Bull Ring. And I bid you all farewell, good evening, and good night, everybody.